Ethiopia just banned the import of gas and diesel cars, like completely, and not by 2035 or some distant future. Today.
Yeah, literally right now.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking you through a really eclectic stack of sources. We've got Italian global analysis, European energy reports, and S&P market data, all to decode this messy, highly dramatic global transition to electric vehicles.
It is definitely messy.
Yeah.
And that Ethiopian ban you mentioned, I mean, it is purely about pragmatic economics.
Yeah.
It really has nothing to do with saving the planet.
Wait, really? Just economics?
Exactly, because the country generates massive amounts of cheap local hydropower.
Yeah.
But they were, bleeding billions in foreign currency, just importing oil to keep regular gas cars running.
Oh, wow. So for them, shifting to EVs is literally just a strategy for economic survival.
Yeah, it just makes financial sense.
It's the ultimate leapfrog. It reminds me of how a lot of African nations completely skipped laying down traditional copper landlines and just jumped straight to mobile networks.
Right, they just bypass the whole legacy system.
Exactly. They are bypassing the entire gas car era. And then meanwhile, you've got Norway sitting at over 90% EV adoption for new cars, mainly because their tax policies just made combustion engines way too expensive to justify.
But see, you have to contrast that Nordic pragmatism with what an Italian analysis we reviewed calls mechanical identity.
Mechanical identity. I actually like that term.
Yeah, it's fascinating because in places like Germany and Italy, the internal combustion engine is, well, it's a cultural hallmark of engineering excellence for them.
Right, it's a major point of pride.
Exactly. So retiring the combustion engine, it feels like losing a piece of their historical soul.
For them, it's not just swapping out a power source, but, while Europe debates its cultural heritage, there is this massive geopolitical race happening over the actual physical parts replacing those engines.
Oh, absolutely. And China is currently dominating that physical board. I mean, they produce 75% of the world's lithium-ion batteries.
That is a staggering market share.
And it gets wilder. They control 85% of the global capacity for producing anodes.
Wait, so even if Europe successfully bids the physical car on their soil, does China still essentially hold all the critical puzzle pieces needed to make it run?
Basically, yes. Because the anode is the negative side of the battery where the energy is actually stored. Without it, a battery literally cannot hold a charge.
Right. And the U.S. is fighting back hard against that monopoly with the Inflation Reduction Act, restricting tax credits only to EV components made in North America.
Which leaves Europe in a really vulnerable position right now.
Yeah, according to the Euroelectric reports, they are lagging far behind in supply chain readiness.
Right. Europe has to figure out how to localize manufacturing and recycle raw materials fast. Because if they only build the chassis of the car but have to import the battery and its processed chemicals from Asia, they are no longer independent automakers.
They are essentially just assembling Chinese technology.
Exactly.
Building the shell but importing the battery is it's like buying a state-of-the-art smartphone but having to rent the microchip from your biggest competitor. You just become a middleman in your own industry.
That is a perfect analogy. And that supply chain panic is colliding with a harsh market reality we are seeing in the S&P global data right now. They call it the big stall.
Right, because global momentum for EVs is actually slowing down.
Yeah, battery electric vehicle penetration is actively contracting at the moment.
Which is wild. I mean, we're seeing high production costs, political disruptions from U.S. elections, and Western pushback on Chinese imports. Plus, there is a brutal industry price war happening. But hold on, if there's an intense price war happening right now, shouldn't consumers be rushing in to buy these cars on the cheap instead of retreating?
So you would think a price war would drive sales, but human behavior in tech markets operates a bit differently. Well, because the technology is evolving so rapidly alongside these price cuts, consumers are adopting a wait-and-see approach. I mean, nobody wants to buy an EV today if a vastly superior version with longer range and better software is dropping for a lower price next Tuesday.
Oh, it's the old laptop conundrum. Like, why buy the bulky one now when the slim model is right around the corner?
Exactly. And that forces automakers into a serious corner. To survive this stall, they have to innovate rapidly to lower their per-unit costs.
Right, while heavily integrating the connected car entertainment tech that buyers just expect as a standard feature now.
Yeah, the transition is fundamentally reshaping global trade and local identities simultaneously.
It really is. So the next time you look at the sticker price of an EV, realize it is heavily dictated by geopolitical tariffs, raw material monopolies, and cultural heritage, not just the cost of the leather seats.
It is a massive, complex.
Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If entire countries are leapfrogging the combustion engine right now, what will car culture look like for a generation that has never actually heard an engine roar? Thank you so much for joining us and spending your time on this deep dive today. We really appreciate your curiosity, and we'll catch you next time.